Let's make a trade. I give you a short, sweet, and to the point next guide for absolute beginners or people who are struggling with getting kills, and you give me a like on the video. Deal? How's it going, guys? Welcome to this next guide. Let's get straight into it, skip all of the BS. This right here is the setup I am wearing for this kill, although you do not need to match this exactly. The biggest thing here as far as weapons go is that you need to be using crossbows to feel the effects of Bacriminal bolts, specifically Ruby Bacriminals for the first 3 phases. After that, you can switch out to Dragonstone bolts or whatever you feel like using at that point. People will probably tell you that Hydrix is the best to use here, but I personally don't bother as I don't see it as super necessary. The armor I'm wearing here is going to be Sirenic. You can absolutely do this in Armadil or Pernix or, or really any armor. Honestly, I don't even think you need to wear armor here if you don't want to. The biggest things that are going to help you here is the Reckless Aura, which is going to give you a huge accuracy boost while fighting next. And accuracy is very, 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 very important here. I also bring a
Shadow
Nihil, the one that increases your ranged accuracy even further. Use the highest dose of overload you can, and make sure you are using the range curse, whatever that spell is called. I do have my main hand augmented with Precise 6 for a better hit chance, and I have Equilibrium 4 on my offhand and a bunch of weird PVM perks on my armor. I'm not going to get into that because that is not important. What I'm here to show you is how to get the kill done. One final thing I want to mention is that I do have a Dark Bow EOF loaded into this preset, but I did not use the Dark Bow spec a single time when doing this kill. It's not necessary, but if you have it, absolutely use it because it's huge damage. Just to summarize my inventory, you want a Power Burst of Vitality to be able to survive Ice Phase. I bring 2 Vulnerability Bombs. I throw both of them during this kill, which I will tell you when I do that. I bring Magic No Paper just because Ceridome and Bruise, you might as well pick them up because GP is good. I also bring a Repriser. Any sort of defender will do here. I really never ever use it, but it's more of just a oops, I made an accident type tool. And the only other piece of gear I have not touched on is the Armadil book in my loadout. Armadil book is basically best in slot here as far as I'm concerned. It's amazing. Just buy it and use it. It's very, very cheap. I'm going to talk you through the full kill here. So make sure you have Adrenaline. Make an instanced encounter, otherwise there is a chance when going into the public lobby she will spawn in a way that you do not want. So make an instance, go inside. I tend to surge forward here just to get the positioning that I want closer to the fight. You do not want to be standing on the steps, okay? Make sure you activate your Armadil book. And right as she turns to the last minion there, I use Anticipate to reduce the chance I get dragged. I pull her back, and I throw a Vulnerability Bomb and try to bleed. At this point, it's a DPS fest. Just pace yourself, you're going to be okay. So there I just got dragged into the arena. I use Freedom, and I walk back out. It happens sometimes. Don't sweat it if you make a mistake here. You are going to take some melee hits during this fight. That is just what happens. It's not a huge deal. At 160k health, you will stop doing damage to Nex, and the first minion will unlock. Throw bleeds on this. Try to use rapid fire if you've got it available. Work that thing down as quick as possible. That's all there is to phase 1. Just make sure you are not stuck in the center of the arena when she does her little animation. Phase 2 is where people tend to have a lot of problems. So at this point in the fight, I soul split, and you want to keep distance from Nex. Do not engage in melee mode, surge away, get the hell out of there, do whatever you gotta do, because that's when you start taking rapid bleed damage. If she walks towards you while you're DPSing the minion down, just walk from side to side on the edge of that arena to try to keep distance away from her. I'm gonna mention real quick that when you see black smoke at your feet, walk 1 tile away or you will be hit for like 4,000 damage and it doesn't feel good. Just pay attention to where you're standing. Phase 3 is Blood Phase. This is where people really screw up. So I throw a Vulnerability Bomb. As she's raising her wings, I charge a Snipe. And then from here, I'm using my Snapshot, Rapid Fire, basically any threshold I can get to get as much DPS off as possible. Do not use bleeds on this phase. It will only heal Nex. We'll go over what happens here if you mess up and you aren't able to get her down to 80,000 HP in time in just a little bit. But from here, we're going to kill the minion and move on to Ice phase. A big thing to remember during this phase is when your character turns red, you want to face in a direction that's opposite of Nex and surge that way. Essentially, you want to be far enough away where she cannot damage you with a blood attack. Otherwise, she'll heal and it just makes this phase harder. If you have to wait there for a little bit until you get the pop-up message saying you were far enough away from Nex, so be it. Just do not be close to her when this thing goes off. Now there is something of a little trick in Ice phase that I can show you. If you wait till after she marks you for a sacrifice and phase her just then, you will actually basically only get one Ice Prison during this whole fight. So when she says contain this, stay the hell away from her, you're at range distance, make use of it. When you are in the Ice Prison, Freedom, drink a power burst of Vitality, and start to DPS again. As soon as you're free out of the prison, put on your prayers one more time, and then from there just continue to work Nex down. Using this method, you should realistically only ever get one Ice Prison. It's very easy to take her down to phase HP. Phase 5 is the Zaros phase. Here in this phase, you really want to be running away from Nex when she is praying Soul Split, otherwise it'll take forever to kill her. Try your hardest to use every bleed available to you here because Nex does have a hit cap during this phase. So abilities like Rapid Fire, where it's a lot of small little hits, do wonders as well as all of your bleeds. If you're sitting at 100% adrenaline and want to use an ultimate, Deadshot is fantastic here. It has a bunch of small little hits that are just perfect for this phase. From there, just work her down until she's dead. When she explodes, stay away from the sparks, and congrats, you got your next kill. So now we're going to talk about what happens when you fail Blood phase. So you're going to get Nex down to a specific HP, and then you're going to notice her wings go back up and she starts healing with purple hits. Stop damaging Nex. Get on one of the Blood Reavers, DPS it down, and then as soon as she's good to go, start firing off on her again. You should have the access to all of your thresholds at this point, like Rapid Fire, Snapshot, dump damage onto Nex as quick as you can. There's no need to panic. You can go multiple blood phases in a row. As long as you are doing some damage to Nex, as soon as she comes back, you will be fine. Don't focus on just getting a one cycle blood phase every single time. Messing up is the only way you're going to learn here. Now I realize this guide is far from perfect, but if you take my little tips that I gave you here, you should be able to secure your first Nex kill. The big things to focus on are, during the smoke phase, or phase 2, stay out of melee distance from Nex or you are going to take a lot of bleed damage. Utilize your surge there. Having double surge here is fantastic, just in case you find yourself in a bit of a predicament. During blood phase, take it slow. Charge a snipe, dump thresholds, stay away when she marks you for blood sacrifice, and if you fail blood phase, go back and try it again. Wait until you have been marked for blood once again after you finish the blood phase minion to phase her into phase 4. This will make your life a whole lot easier. It will add a little bit of time onto your kill, but it's negligible compared to having to only deal with one prison, at least until your DPS is good enough. And that should be it. Hopefully I've covered everything you needed to know in this. If I missed stuff, let me know down below to help the people out that are watching this. Nex is a fantastic moneymaker and easily one of my favorite bosses in the game, even though I'm not super good at it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, don't forget to give it a like, let me know what I missed down below, and subscribe if you want to see more content. You all have a fantastic rest of your day. Goodbye.